Okay, as of this last year, all of South America, Central America, and the Caribbean fell below repopulation rate. India was at 2.2. They fall below repopulation rate next year. China, not only is their birth rate dropping and they're expected to be at what, like half their population within 45 years, but it's dropping so fast that year over year this last year, their fertility rate declined by over 13%. That's insane. You look at countries like where I used to work, South Korea. They're at zero point 0.8 right now. They're going to be at 0.7. They're projected, I think, by the end of the year or by the end of next year. And a
And that's
0.7 birth rate.
a couple. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
That
drop
means
of
for
like
every 100 Koreans, there will be 4.3 great grandchildren. We're looking at a 96% like extinction rate within the next century. If there was a disease, we freak out about a disease killing 1%, 2% of people, 96% over the next century. And look at the US, the cultures that we thought were immune. First generation immigrants, they fell below repopulation rate in 2019. They're at 1.7 now. It looks like Mormons may even be below repopulation rate now, or they will be within the next 5 years. No one seems immune to this. And actually, if you guys like in your podcast, if you have this, I have a place where I have sources for all this. So you can connect it and people can look if they're oh, that sounds insanely high, because you'll look around and you'll get wrong numbers. Like if you try to look at like China's official numbers, you won't see like quite how bad things are. And a lot of people haven't updated their data to the most. It's really shocking how bad things are. But what does this mean more broadly? Why is this so pessimistic? Well, it's really pessimistic for two reasons. Okay, one is our entire economy is a pyramid scheme. It's based on I put money in the stock market and that grows in aggregate. And the reason that grows in aggregate is for two reasons. It grows in aggregate because historically, technology, like the productivity per worker, has increased linearly for the past 100, 200 years. And the number of workers has been increasing exponentially. But the number of workers is about to start falling exponentially. And the technological productivity per worker is still only increasing linearly. That hasn't changed. So we will, in our lifetimes, reach a point where all money invested declines in aggregate. That means land, that means stock markets. I mean, unless AI, and there's a few AI scenarios where we get around this, or they just kill us all. But that means that people stop investing in the future. When the stock market starts functioning, VCs start functioning. The way that we invest money, the way that we ensure a positive future for our society stops functioning. And a lot of our social institutions are going to begin to break down. And you can see this at the city level. Detroit is a really good model for what happens when a population declines pretty quickly. It's not like you get more room to live in. It's like urban blight as far as you can see, extreme social dysfunction, rising rates of crime. It's bad. And unlike Detroit, like it doesn't have a healthy world around it to bail it out. So I can go deeper on that. But the other problem we have is, you guys know as well as I do, things like the way a person votes is heritable. Pro-sociality has a heritable component. Altruism has a heritable component. And we can look, and we did a big study with a researcher at Mayo Clinic and using some data from Clear Thinking on what's really being selected for. And we thought it was religiosity. And I wasn't that worried. Religiosity, fine. Like that can motivate a lot of positive behavior. It turns out that these religiosity isn't it. And I should have known that. I should have looked at these like extreme viral advocates, that they are just as religious as like any fervent fire-breathing snake eater, what it turns out is it's a disgust of outsiders, not listening to outside ideas. That's what is protecting birth rates in these traditional cultures. And this sort of tribalism. And that means the world my kids are going to grow up in, it'll be collapsing economically, and it will be way more tribalistic, way more hateful, way more racism, way more all of this stuff that these people claim to care about. So why am I positive? Why do I care so much? So I'm and then I'll let you guys talk. Because the birth rates are falling so fast all across the board, if you do have a lot of kids, we're planning to have like 7 to 13 kids. If we have, let's say, 8 kids for just 10 generations, that's more descendants than live on Earth today. And that's why we're looking so much at constructing cultures. Like, how do I maintain this value set intergenerationally? How do I pass this on to my kids? But then more importantly than that, how do I share this new social technology with other people? How do I help other families gene edit their cultures so that the future isn't a monoculture of just my family? And that's our core advocacy. Well, that's one area that we really care about right now.
What do you think about the dysgenic effect on intelligence in addition to the falling birth rates? Do you think that's also something to worry about in terms of like economic stagnation?
I think that the data that I've shown, like, I don't want to. I don't talk too much about intelligence and genetic correlates there because I don't think that it's hard to have a productive conversation on that topic. However, I think that a lot of people are much more open to just looking at the data on the heritability of political ideology because that data is really clear, really well studied, and it's not controversial. And I don't think anybody wants to live in a more tribalistic future, a future where people hate outgroups, where they look down on people who are different from them, where they don't hear other ideas. And that right now seems to be the only protection, the only like sociological profile protection have against whatever is causing this quick decline in birth rates. And we can get further on that topic if you want, but yeah.